Hello, we saw Dawn of the Planet of the Apes a long time ago.
Yep, and if you can remember all those years ago, I mean, that's how the movie started. Oh, I guess some people haven't seen the movie yet, but if you have, that's how the movie started, and that's why we did that. We're not just weird. Well, we are weird, but Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was
weird, that makes
amazing.
us average. We're average because we know we're average.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so what do we think of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes?
I think
it's great.
Probably
Because there are monkeys in it.
the most shocking movie for me.
Apes.
Well, towards the release date, I started knowing that it was going to be good, but at the beginning of the year, this movie was not on my radar at all. I guess this one and Edge of Tomorrow were two movies that were not on my radar at all. And at the beginning of the year, I would not have told you that this was going to be a movie that I would like. But, I mean, as I got closer, everybody was like, oh, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is great. And it was. It was great. And I was not underwhelmed, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, so plot synopsis. There are people, they're apes, they intertwine, they're going to fight.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that's going to be like? You think it's going to be like Avatar? Well, I did too.
Nothing. It doesn't play out how you expect, which is great.
Yeah. They did. What I liked about this movie most of all is how much it concentrated on the apes. And I think that's why Matt Reeves directed it, is because the studio was originally going to go with focusing on the humans, and then the apes were going to be like a backdrop. They were going to be like, something else that's happening. Mm-hmm. But Matt Reeves almost wasn't going to be on the project, and they were like, well, how are you going to do it? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna focus on the apes. And they're like, okay, we like it. You can be on the project. And he did that, and he did it right. Mm-hmm. Because the first 20 minutes of this movie, you probably already heard, is just apes. It's just them, their society. Like, no conflict with the humans whatsoever. It's just them doing normal things. And if you're watching normal humans do normal things, it would have been boring. That's like that except apes, but you've never seen it before, so it's actually nice to watch.
Mm-hmm. What I found kind of surprising in this movie is, in the beginning, the apes, Caesar was always sort of focusing on what's going to happen with the humans, what's going to happen with the humans.
The camera's right there, by the way.
Okay. What's going to happen with the humans, and then the humans are over here, and they kind of forgot about the apes until they bumped into them.
Yeah, they weren't like at war the whole time.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like a...
So, things aren't really tense until the humans figure out, hey, the apes are still here. And then the apes, they're always like, Caesar was kind of planning and saying, always thinking, what's going to happen with the humans?
And like the apes in this movie are used as sort of like a metaphor for how the human race has been. The apes just started out and it was all peaceful, everything was fine. But when they start to find the humans, them finding the humans was like humans in the past forming different societies and starting to like have disagreements and certain stuff. That's when war starts. And the whole movie, you just see the apes just sort of like how they react the way humans maybe in the very beginning react when they started having conflict and they started to form like politics and government and all that sort of thing. And it's just a big sort of documentary on how the world sort of like fell slightly. And you also get that because not only are the humans like part of the metaphor for the apes, but the humans themselves, you actually see them there and what happened to them at the end of it all. Apes are at the beginning, humans are at the end.
And within the movie itself, the apes also have a similar, like problem, that like differences in belief, and I like that it has lots of political and historical undertones. It's great when a movie can like have parallels like that, and because the apes and humans, they're sort of they're similar, but they're completely different in a lot of ways. It's like Batman and Joker.
Okay, so...
And the dragons and How to Train Your Dragon too.
The apes, along with their conflict with the humans, they have some turmoil within themselves. Like, well, I wanted to put turmoil. That word is... It's a good word to describe what's going on with them.
Welcome, we interrupt this movie review to bring you dictionary.com.
Caesar is, there's one scene where Caesar's talking to his son Blue Eyes and he says, turmoil is a good synonym for conflict. Apes not have turmoil with other apes?
We're done with turmoil, okay? Alright, so what else? What else do we like?
Andy Serkis, you know, we could say he deserves an Oscar, but who cares?
Give the guy an Oscar because he deserves it, but don't give it to him because no one cares. Yeah, he's a good actor. You don't need to prove it to million-year-old old people.
That he pioneered, he pretty much pioneers the motion capture technology that's used, and he improves it so much to where like you can see all emotions, and in their eyes you can see that. That would have been great to have in the Hunger Games when all the dogs are supposed to have the eyes of all the tributes.
Yeah.
If only that could have been around. Because,
that movie didn't.
like, you see all the wrinkles and you see everything, like, in the close-ups especially, you see it. And then there's times when you know, like, there's people behind every single ape because the emotions are so great. It's not just like a...
You're looking at apes. You're not looking at actors
looking at apes. But they all have personality.
Yeah.
And also, Koba. He is another great, like, character. Like, in the first one, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, it was mostly Caesar as far as... There was lots of other apes in it, but it was pretty much Caesar that just stole the show. There's other apes in this one that have... they go more into their characters.
And Rocket has a son named Ash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, what do we not like about the movie? Because you've heard it's, like, so great, you know...
Gary Oldman's character could have used more, and
No, not Gary Oldman's character. Gary Oldman.
yeah, him.
Gary Oldman.
The actor himself, he could have had a bigger role. The
no one
humans.
knows Gary Oldman's character's name. It's Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
What was his name?
But there was parts where his character did like shocking things that were, like that surprised me, and it was also it was good. Also, the main humans were. I wouldn't call it functional because that's a little bit of an understatement, but they weren't necessarily. They couldn't compare to how the apes were. Cause, I mean.
Yes, you know, a good thing about this movie is that they portrayed it like there was no villains in the movie. Like they were all like everyone's good. Everyone has their own ideals, and with that, you have two sides: the humans and the apes.
Pick out.
I thought that the humans had like they were kind of underwhelming because they're humans. They're like us. They make the decisions that we would make. All we're like, you know, they have a family that doesn't really do like the main character has a family, but they don't really do much. They're just there to establish they have a family. You see things to the humans that are exactly like us, and looking at them, you just kind of understand them. You get them, so you don't need to see that much of them compared to the apes. Now, the apes, like I just said, are concentrated on like a bunch, and that's what makes this film great. They could have done it with the humans, and it would have been not nearly as good. But that's what I'm saying is a small fault to the movie is the human aspect, isn't very good compared to the apes.
Mm-hmm.
And that and Gary Oldman's character being underused are my only faults with the movie. Like,
another gripe I have is, in some of these newer movies, it seems like they always have to put the effort at least one time. So,
E-rated John.
I'm E10 rated John.
E-rated, that's it. E for everyone.
And so Gary Oldman just has to get an effort in there.
But it's
E-rated John.
you understand it. It's not just like beep. But in a perfect world, news would be totally unbiased. This is kind of like what that is. It's like you get a look at it, and there's no like real enemy. It's not presented to you like this is. It's not cookie cutter. It's not this is the villain. This is the good guy. You should root for them because of this, and these guys are bad. It was like a two sides, and you were watching it as it is.
There weren't even sides because there were fights in between each society. You know, you had Koba versus
within
Caesar, and you
yes.
had Gary Oldman versus generic
more parallels.
Yeah, so that's really it.
Mm-hmm.
You think we can get to our rating system?
Have we left anything out? I don't want to leave anything out. All the visuals are great.
Yes.
There's some great action scenes, which is good.
There's
Because Rise of the Planet of the Apes wasn't necessarily that great with the action scenes, but
well, I mean, but it was still a great movie. Anyway, speaking of effects and cinematography, there's one shot, if you haven't seen the movie, you'll recognize it, a long uncut shot with a tank on it, or the camera's on a tank. Look for that shot, that was a beautiful shot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so can we get right to our rating system?
we can.
Okay, rating system.
You'll go personal.
Theoretical,
Go ahead.
9.5 because...
Theoretical? Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
because they didn't give the humans, like, they kind of focus on some of the humans.
Good enough.
Like, they focus on this
right.
little small part of the humans, and how they felt with the apes was different than this small part of the humans. And then the bigger part, the bigger section of the humans, sort of, you have to think what they were, you have to kind of guess for yourself how they were feeling with it. Because it just had Gary Oldman and the shooters, and then I forgot his name, but the curly-haired guy who interacts with the apes, and his family and team.
Okay, what's your personal rating?
Okay, personal rating. I give it a 10 out of 10. It's my second favorite. It's my second favorite movie of the year because Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite movie of the year.
Okay, theoretical rating, I'm going to go 9.4 just because I don't want to be the same as you because my personal rating is a 10. This is the Dark Knight of these movies. That's all I'm going to say.
My theoretical rating is going to be 9.5 because this is a great movie. There's very little flaws.
I would have gone 9.5, I just don't want to be...
Okay, I mean, it's whatever. But there's very little flaws, and the flaws we pointed out, if this was any other movie, that would not have been caught. But personally, I'm probably going to go 9.5 again, just because I didn't like it quite as much as I like superhero movies. And what personally, I guess you with your Transformers, it bumps it up
because
even
this
more.
is a great rating.
Yeah, no, I'm just
you
saying,
haven't
like,
seen,
I know.
I didn't
the ratios of the theoretical to the personal. This one didn't have, like, superheroes movies get an extra boost no matter what the theoretical, just because I like the way superhero movies are. I like those kinds of characters. But still, this is great. It's not my favorite movie of the year, but it is probably Edge of Tomorrow and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Theoretically, would probably be the best movies of the year if I wasn't superhero biased.
One comment. I didn't review the Transformers movie, but I hated it, so that's why it bumps up all my.
Thanks for telling us. Thanks for telling us. We needed that. All right, aim for average.
Tooth
Gobber.
doctor. Yeah, Gobber. Gobber's a dragon tooth
Dentist.
Dentist.
You were about to say tooth doctor.
Dentist. And you
Looks
know how
like you have no
you know how
kids.
Gobber is missing his arm, and he can put different arm additions or replacements on his on his arm stuff.
Oh, no.
Okay, Hiccup, when he lost his leg, now he has the same thing. He can put